Imagine you've just moved into your dream home, the kind of place you've envisioned raising your family in. A beautiful, spacious house in a picturesque neighborhood. But just as you start to unpack and settle in, a mysterious letter arrives, shattering your peace. The writer calls themselves the Watcher, and they claim to have been observing the house for decades. What would you do if someone ominously noted that you brought young blood into their domain? Welcome to the disturbing reality the Broaddus family faced in their new home at 657 Boulevard in Westfield, New Jersey. Keep watching, hit subscribe, and join me, your host at Mystery Junky, as we unravel the chilling saga of the Watcher. In June 2014, Derek and Maria Broaddus purchased their new home at 657 Boulevard, a sprawling property in the affluent town of Westfield, New Jersey. With dreams of a happy, bustling household, they were eager to start the next chapter of their lives. The house, with its 6 bedrooms, represented a space of potential and promise. However, their joy was soon overshadowed by an unsettling discovery that turned their dream into a nightmare. 3 days after gaining the keys to their new home, and while still in the midst of renovations, Derek Broaddus went to check the mail. Amongst the usual clutter of bills and flyers, he found an odd, handwritten note. The letter was from someone calling themselves the Watcher. This person claimed that watching 657 Boulevard was their family's duty for generations and hinted at a sinister undercurrent to their surveillance. The letter read, "My grandfather watched the house in the 1920s and my father watched in the 1960s. It is now my time. Do you know the history of the house? Do you know what lies within the walls of 657 Boulevard? Why did you leave it empty when you chose to go away? It cries for the past and what used to be in the grand time when it was cherished and lived in. I have been put in charge of watching and waiting for its second coming." As renovations continued, more letters arrived, each more disturbing than the last. The Watcher described details about the Broaddus family's children, alarming Derek and Maria. One letter asked, "Have you found what is in the walls yet? In time they will." Another stated, "I am pleased to know your names now, and the name of the young blood you have brought to me." The letters grew more accusatory and threatening, discussing the family's updates to the property. 657 Boulevard is upset. You have changed it and made it so fancy. It cries for the past, and what used to be in the grand time when it was cherished and lived in. The terror instilled by these communications was palpable. The Broadduses were unable to feel safe in their own home. They stopped bringing their children to the house and were constantly looking over their shoulders. Fearing for their safety, they never fully moved into 657 Boulevard. Instead, they lived in a state of limbo, their dream home a gilded cage. The Westfield police were initially baffled. The letters were processed for DNA and fingerprints, leading to a partial DNA profile indicating a female. However, this clue fizzled out with no clear matches. Private investigators and former FBI agents were brought in, turning their focus on the neighborhood. Everyone in the vicinity became a suspect, from disgruntled neighbors to anyone with a peculiar interest in the house. Despite exhaustive efforts, no suspects were conclusively identified, and the Watcher remained a mystery. The case attracted national attention, stirring a media frenzy and becoming a local legend. The story of the Watcher was featured in major publications, leading to numerous theories about the identity and motives of the mysterious observer. Was this a disturbed individual with a bizarre fixation, a former resident harboring resentment, or even a neighbor with too keen an interest in the property? The community of Westfield felt the ripple effects, with residents and rubberneckers drawn to the saga. Despite the extensive investigation, the identity of the Watcher has never been revealed. Theories abound, from the possibility of a neighborhood prank gone horribly wrong to darker notions of stalking and obsession. Some even speculate about a real estate scheme to drive down property values. The truth remains buried, perhaps deep within the walls of 657 Boulevard itself. Today, The mystery of the Watcher remains as unresolved and chilling as ever. The Broaddus family eventually sold the house at a loss, their dreams dashed by the haunting experience. The new owners have reportedly not received any letters, but the legend of the Watcher continues to loom large in Westfield and beyond. As we close this eerie chapter, remember, your home is supposed to be your sanctuary, but what happens when someone else claims watch over it? Could you live knowing each step you take is under scrutiny? Would you ignore the letters, confront the Watcher, or flee? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to stay updated with more gripping tales from Mystery Junky. Who knows what mysteries await around your corner? As we conclude the haunting tale of 657 Boulevard, the story of the Watcher remains a chilling enigma wrapped in the quiet suburban streets of Westfield, New Jersey. The family targeted by these ominous letters faced not just a personal terror, but a mystery that has captivated the nation and stumped investigators, both amateur and professional. Let's dive deeper into some theories and additional facts that linger around this bizarre case, each adding layers of complexity to an already convoluted puzzle. One popular theory speculates that the Watcher might have been a nearby resident or a collective of neighbors uncomfortable with the changes the Broadduses planned for the house. Perhaps seeing the family as too outsider or too disruptive to the old charm of the neighborhood, someone could have taken it upon themselves to scare the family away. This theory leans on the detailed nature of the observations in the letters, suggesting proximity and a deep-seated territorial sentiment. Could a local, hiding in plain sight, be protecting what they felt was a historical or communal legacy, watching over the house as a guardian rather than a menace? Another theory posits that what started perhaps as a prank or a hoax to spook the new homeowners spiraled out of control. The original intention might not have been to drive the family away permanently, but to play a deeply disturbing joke. However, once the story garnered media attention, the perpetrator might have found themselves trapped in their own narrative, continuing to write letters to sustain their twisted tale or to avoid detection by changing their behavior. A more cynical angle suggests the possibility of real estate manipulation. This theory argues that someone had a financial interest in keeping the house's value down or wanted to purchase it themselves for a lower price. The continuous harassment could have been a tactic to frighten the Broaddus family into selling the property at a significant loss, allowing the perpetrator to acquire the property or benefit from its reduced value in some way. The house at 657 Boulevard has stood since the early 1900s, and previous owners had received at least one bizarre letter from someone claiming to watch the house, though these were never reported as threatening as those received by the Broaddus family. The community reaction was mixed. Some neighbors were supportive, offering sympathy and help. Others were suspicious of the Broaddus family themselves, speculating that they might have concocted the whole scenario as a way out of a bad real estate investment or for some inscrutable personal gain. The Broaddus family struggle to sell the house after the letters became public added another layer of victimization. They eventually sold the house for less than they paid, suffering not only an emotional, but a substantial financial loss. The case has inspired episodes of TV shows, podcasts, and articles, becoming a part of the true crime cultural lexicon. It has also sparked discussions about privacy, safety, and the dark side of suburban idle. The Watcher case taps into a primal fear, the invasion of our private spaces by an unseen and unknown entity. It challenges the notion of the home as a safe haven and leaves us with unsettling questions about surveillance and privacy in our modern world. As we ponder these theories, the true motive and identity of the Watcher remain hidden, perhaps never to be uncovered, leaving the Broaddus family and curious onlookers with only speculation and unease. What do you think drove the Watcher? Was it a disturbed individual, a neighbor's disdain, a real estate gambit, or something even more sinister? Could you stay in a house under such scrutiny, or would you flee to reclaim peace of mind? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And remember, mysteries like these remain enthralling not just because of their unresolved nature, but because they remind us of the mysteries that could be lurking in our own backyards. Thanks for watching Mystery Junky. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more deep dives into the darkest mysteries our world has to offer. Stay curious and keep seeking the truth.